A group of senior England players allegedly signed a confidential letter demanding Thomas Tuchel publicly explain why Quansah was excluded from the squad after a controversial red card in training. This wasn't just some disagreement. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This wasn't the press blowing things out of proportion. This is serious. Nothing like this has ever been seen days before the start of a World Cup. And there's a detail the FA still hasn't confirmed publicly. The letter was typed, not handwritten, suggesting premeditation and coordination among multiple players. And the worst still hasn't come out. Over the next few minutes, you're going to understand exactly what happened and why this turns England's World Cup upside down. When this happens, less than a week before England's opener against Iran, it's not just any problem. This is about authority, unity, and whether Thomas Tuchel can hold the dressing room together when it matters most. And behind the scenes, it's worse than it looks. It all started on June 7th during a high-intensity practice match at the England training base in Kansas. Quansah allegedly received a straight red card for a challenge on Kobbie Mainoo near the halfway line. Witnesses close to the squad insist the tackle was mistimed but not reckless. That's when everything changed. Tuchel reportedly treated it as a test of discipline and immediately told Quansah he would not feature in the opening game. Within 48 hours, a typed letter began circulating. According to reports emerging from the camp, Trent Alexander-Arnold drafted it, and at least 7 players signed, including Declan Rice, Bukayo Saka, and Ollie Watkins. The letter allegedly demanded Tuchel explain his decision in a team meeting and release the training footage to prove the severity of the foul. Then came the moment that reportedly changed everything. On the evening of June 9th, inside the team meeting room at the Kansas training complex, Declan Rice allegedly placed the folded letter on the table in front of Tuchel before the scheduled tactical briefing. The room went silent. Tuchel reportedly glanced at the paper, did not unfold it, and began his presentation on Iran's defensive shape without acknowledging it. Trent Alexander-Arnold is said to have leaned back in his chair and crossed his arms. John Stones allegedly shook his head slightly. After 15 minutes, Tuchel paused and said, according to sources close to the squad, that internal discipline matters would remain internal, and that team selection was not up for negotiation. The atmosphere reportedly remained cold and tense throughout dinner. But this didn't come out of nowhere. Quansah's inclusion in the final 26-man roster had already sparked debate. Some felt he deserved the spot after a strong season with Liverpool, while others questioned whether Tuchel favored him. There were also whispers that Tuchel's disciplinary standards had been inconsistent, with at least one senior player reportedly avoiding punishment for a similar incident earlier in camp. The red card became a flashpoint for those frustrations. And hold on, because the most controversial detail I've saved for the end. The dressing room is divided. The signatories feel vindicated by each other's support, but anxious about possible retaliation through reduced minutes. Mark Guehi and Ezri Quansah reportedly feel caught between loyalty to teammates and respect for hierarchy. Coaching staff are said to be frustrated by the distraction. The FA has declined to comment beyond stating that squad matters are handled internally. Fans on social media are split. Some praise the players for standing up for fairness. Others accuse them of undermining the manager days before the biggest tournament in 4 years. And the clock is ticking. England face Iran in their Group B opener on June 14th, meaning Tuchel has less than 5 days to restore unity. If Quansah remains excluded and England concede early or struggle defensively, scrutiny will intensify. Now Thomas Tuchel is caught between 2 bad decisions. If he releases the footage and justifies the decision publicly, he risks appearing weak and opens every future selection to challenge. But if he refuses, the rift deepens, morale erodes heading into a crucial opener, and he loses the trust of influential voices like Declan Rice and Trent Alexander-Arnold, who could shape the squad's mentality for the entire tournament. What almost nobody noticed was this: one unsigned copy of the letter was allegedly left in the media liaisons folder by mistake and retrieved minutes before a press briefing. Sources suggest a recording of the meeting room exchange exists and could surface if the rift escalates. Days before a World Cup, the England dressing room is fractured, and the manager's authority hangs by a thread. And look, this is far from over. This is the information circulating so far. Over the next few hours, new details should trickle out, and they could turn this whole story upside down. So for you, should England players have the right to challenge the manager's decisions collectively, or does unity demand absolute trust in authority even when transparency is denied? Let us know in the comments below. And if you don't want to miss the next major development, subscribe now and turn on notifications, because when this fully breaks, you'll want to be the first to know, not the last.